from game night, our second out of 3 game nights this week. That's the doggy. And I have found out that I am horrible at playing horror RPGs.
You're not horrible at playing them. You played it fine. You just got scared.
I get scared. Like, legit, I don't like horror. And, like, it wasn't even that scary, and I was freaking out.
I was way more scared of the Jenga tower than I was of the story. The story was good, though. Like, I liked the story, and I thought it was really good. I just, like, the Jenga tower definitely makes that game.
Well, okay, so you want to explain Dread?
Yeah, so the way Dread works is, basically, like, we kind of did it wrong. You're supposed to, like... It's supposed to be really focused on making a character that's, like, has a personality and a backstory and stuff about them, and then you play as that character. But what we did, we just played as ourselves.
Well, and don't they say you can because these characters are supposed to just die?
Yeah, so that's sort of the problem, though, is if you take a lot of time on character creation, your characters are sort of...
Because it's a horror RPG.
Yeah, so you definitely, like, people die. By people, I mean me.
Yes, our only casualty of the night.
Yeah, because we played Jenga too well.
Okay, but keep going, and then we'll get to that.
So, Jenga, yeah. So you play Jenga. We were doing it so, like, in a regular RPG, you roll dice to determine an outcome. In this, you just pull a brick. So, like, a good example of this would be, like, we were fighting a Wendigo, and at one point, it was already... You know, like, we'd fought it a bunch of times.
Oh, never mind. He doesn't want to come
out. It was, like, impaled and had a knife in its eyeball. And it broke the spear that it was impaled with, or, like, it was, like, a tree branch that I had used to impale it. And so, like, I had to pull a brick to punch the knife further into its eye as, like, an action, right? So it's stuff like that. You pull bricks, and, you know, it's just like playing Jenga. So eventually, you know, like, as you go on, the tower gets weaker and weaker and weaker. And if you pull a brick and the tower collapses, you either die or are doomed. So, like, if you're in combat and you pull a brick, like I did at one point, and the tower falls over, you just, you know, you get killed by whatever you're fighting or whatever is happening right now that you're trying to avoid. On the other hand, if you pull a brick for, like, at one point, I wanted to make a phone call. And so it's like, oh, does my cell phone have service? Yes, it has service. So, easy. So, in that case, I pulled a brick. If the tower, I mean, that was really early in it, but if the tower had fallen then, I would have just been doomed. So basically, at the next opportunity, I would die. And I think at that point, technically, the rules say you're not supposed to be able to pull any more bricks. Like, you're basically...
Like, you shouldn't?
Yeah,
or...
so, like, if you're doomed, like, if you pull the brick and the tower falls and you don't immediately die because it doesn't make sense in the story, then I don't think you're allowed to do anything else, really. You're just kind of along for the ride until your death. So you're just, like, inevitably cruising towards your death.
But the point is, the point of the Jenga tower is that it creates tension.
Yeah, it's, like, it's supposed to be, like, the atmosphere of the game is really present, because, like, you're always, like... And it worked really well. Like, and that's what I was, like, thinking as I was playing it. I was, like, even though, like, for me, because, like, I really like horror movies and everything, so I'm a little bit jaded, like, I wasn't, like, biting my nails about the story, but having the tower there definitely, like, it was stressful just because if you're really, like, you get invested because you want to survive in the story, because, like, it's, like, just like any RPG, right? Like, you don't want your character to die. So you get invested in the story and you don't want to die, so, like, every time you pull a brick, you're like, crap, I am totally going to die. So, like, it works really well as, like, a thing for horror games, because it's super, like, I didn't realize that we were there for as long as we were there. Like, as soon as we started and we, like, got into it, I was like, every time we have to pull a brick. But yeah, I definitely died. I was the only person that died.
Only person. The rest of us made it out okay.
I can't believe that we made it as far as we did.
And how many rows did we get?
30? Did we get to 30?
One more.
31. Oh, I thought we only had 30.
Well, and the house rule is if we hit 34...
Oh, if we hit 34, we just win. Yeah, which that's the record right now in Jenga. Which, like, we would have had to pull 12 more bricks or something ridiculous to get to 34.
Yeah, I think so.
And it was like, it was.
But it was a fun goal.
Because, like, even the last brick that I pulled, I thought I had it, and then it was all the way out of the tower, and then the tower fell over. I was so mad. But basically, at that point, one person needed to die. So we're running another game of this on
that you are
Saturday
GMing.
That I'm running, and yeah, they're going to be pulling bricks constantly. Like, I want everyone to die in my game. That's sort of my goal.
Well, it's good to know that going in, actually.
Yes.
Maybe I'll be less freaked out. Anyway, point of this vlog is that I am horrible at horror games. Well, it's not even horror games. Like, I like playing Betrayal at House on Haunted Hill. It's a really fun one. There's a couple other horror games we've played that I like. I think it's just the horror RPG. I think I get too into it and I just start freaking out. So it was also a little bit, like Zach, it was right. It was a little gory. So in general, I was just the one freaking out. But it was really fun. And I'm sure they're talking about how much I was freaking out because I was it was bad. It was really bad. But it was fun. And so that was our game night number 2 of 3. And we get one more.
I feel like we're not having another game night. We're having a game day.
Yeah, we're having like a game afternoon.
Because it's like, I imagine we're not going to quit as early as we usually do because we don't have to wake up for work.
No. Okay, well, I gotta shut off the camera because I'm about to be out of battery. So say goodnight.
Night.
Say goodnight, Bombi.